pitch shift process allows you to change the pitch of the audio without changing its length. There are two sections. The first is the transpose section, and the second is the envelope section. You can set the root note or pitch here. It shows up on the keyboard above in red. This has nothing to do with the pitch of the audio. It's just a place to start shifting from. However, if you're thinking in musical terms, then set the root note to the right now. In this case, F, and begin transposing from there. You can transpose by clicking on the keyboard or changing the value here. You can fine-tune the pitch by shift-clicking here. Change the volume and pick an MPEG-4 pitch shift quality and mode in the drop-down here. If you can't decide which one to choose, press the Help button, and at the bottom of the window, there's a clear explanation of how each one works. If things sound choppy when you press Preview, try setting it to something lower quality, at least until you're ready to process it. Let's preview this while changing the pitch on the keyboard. If you check the box labeled Multi-Shift, you can have multiple pitches highlighted on the keyboard so that you can produce a chord. Let me change the volume, it's kind of overloading a bit. If you take off time correction, pitch shifting up will make the audio play faster, and pitch shifting down will make the audio play slower, like the playback speed on a tape recorder. Now let's go to the envelope section. You can draw in changes on top of the audio and then listen to them in real time. Make sure the range is set right or you won't be able to hear the changes you make. Notice that as you raise the range, more lines appear in the curve window. They represent semitones. The higher the range, the higher or lower you'll be able to pitch audio. Remove DC Offset doesn't have a dialog box, but it removes any DC offset in the audio file. DC offset is where there is too large a DC or direct current component in the signal. You can see this when your audio files aren't exactly on the zero-level axis line when you're editing them. They actually look slightly offset. If you notice one of your audio files has DC offset, then all of your audio files probably need to be processed if they were all recorded in that same session. You can see if there is a DC offset in your audio file using the Statistics window under the Audio menu. Looks like there's some DC offset in this audio file. Let's remove it and check the statistics again. Now let's look at resample. This is a very cool effect. Essentially, what it does is keep your sample rate the same, but gives you the effect of resampling. Just pick the new sample rate and it simulates what the audio file will sound like at the new rate. This can create some really amazing effects. Resample affects the length, so what you can do after processing it is use the Sizing Applies Time Stretch function to time stretch the audio file back to the original position. Reverse is easy. It simply reverses the audio file. But you don't have to reverse the whole file. You can reverse a small section of the file for an interesting effect. Silence is almost as easy as reverse. Make a selection using the Range tool and then select Silence. It replaces the section with silence. Stereo flip only works with stereo sound files. You can flip the left and right channels, copy the left channel to the right channel, copy the right channel to the left channel, merge both channels on each side to create a mono sound, or use subtract. This subtracts the left channel information from the right channel information to get rid of the mono material. This is typically used as a karaoke effect because singers' voices are mainly in that mono space. So when you subtract the mono material, you're left with a track that you can sing on top of. The last audio process is time stretch. The easiest way to use this is to use the locators in conjunction with it. Select your audio file and then press P on your keyboard. This sets the left and right locators around your audio file. Then make the right marker a bit longer or shorter depending on whether or not you want to shorten the audio file, making it go faster, or lengthen the audio file, making it go slower. The pitch will be unaffected. Press the Use Locators button and you will notice that all of the parameters change to match the locators. Basically, you're setting it so that the time stretch should equal the length of the locators. Of course, you don't have to use this. You could either change the tempo of the file, the samples, the seconds, etc. You should just stick to the resulting length when you're making your changes. This is much easier. You can pick your algorithm or your quality here. This effect allows you to time stretch from 10 to 1000% of the original value. This creates a truly cool effect.